Your mind is under siege. Every day, distraction is winning in your presence. Your ability to fully inhabit each moment is slipping away. But it doesn't have to be this way. Today, you will learn how to take control of your attention, silence the mental noise, and train yourself to be fully present in any situation at any time. This isn't theory. This is a system. And by the end of this audiobook, you will know exactly how to strengthen your presence, moment by moment, action by action. Stay with me, because nothing you've tried before will prepare you for what comes next. Chapter 1. Stop scattering your attention. Your mind is a battlefield. Every moment, it is under attack. Distraction comes from all directions. Phones, notifications, endless tabs, internal chatter. Every interruption chips away at your potential. You do not notice it happening, yet it accumulates. Day after day, week after week. This is the silent theft of your attention. This is the thief of your presence. This is the enemy of your effectiveness. You cannot afford to ignore it. You cannot afford to surrender. The first rule is simple. You have a choice. You can allow your mind to scatter, or you can command it to focus. There is no middle ground. Scattered attention is invisible damage. It is slow. It is subtle. It is relentless. And it is entirely within your control. You have a choice. Look at your day. Where does your attention go? Every notification, every ping, every pop-up, every thought that drifts without command. These are not neutral. They are attacks. And every attack succeeds if you do nothing. That is the rule. The moment you see your mind wandering, you have a chance to redirect it. You have a choice. Here is the first system. Identify your distractions. Write them down. Be precise. Phones, social media, email, news, internal chatter, idle scrolling, random tabs open in your browser. Every source of scattered attention becomes a target for elimination. This is not optional. This is discipline. You do not need their permission. You do not need approval. You do not need external validation. You need clarity, structure, and control. That is the rule. Once identified, reduce them. Remove notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Silence your devices. Set boundaries. If it is not essential to your task in the present moment, it has no place in your workspace. You have a choice. You must exercise it. This is the architecture of focus. Every environment can be optimized. Every input can be controlled. This is not theory. This is engineering of the mind. Internal distraction is equally critical. Thoughts drift. Memories intrude. Plans for the future surface. Regret and worry appear. You notice them. That is the practice. When you notice a wandering thought, name it. Label it. Planning. Regret. Speculation. Then return to your primary task. Do not linger. Do not argue with the thought. Do not chase it. Return. That is the rule. Attention is a muscle. You train it with repetition. You train it with correction. You train it with structure. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Repeat this. Inscribe it into your habits. Next, we must impose duration. Focus is meaningless if it is inconsistent. Set time blocks of attention. Use a simple timer. Start with 20 minutes. No exceptions. No justifications. Work. Observe. Return. Build the habit. Then increase. 30 minutes. 45 minutes. 1 hour. Gradually, you condition the mind to sustain attention without surrendering to distraction. That is the process. That is the structure. You do not need motivation. Motivation is irrelevant. Systems govern. Discipline governs. You must respect this. A second system, priority sequencing. You cannot focus on everything. You must select the task that matters most. Identify it. Commit to it. Begin with it. Eliminate less important inputs until that task is complete. This is not multitasking. This is single task mastery. Multitasking is the illusion of productivity. It is a trap. You do not need their permission to focus on what matters. You do not need approval to protect your attention. You have a choice. Use it. Practice observation. Take inventory at intervals during the day. Ask yourself, where's my attention right now? Where's my focus? What am I allowing to interrupt me? Answer honestly, then act. Remove the intrusion. Return. Correct the drift. Correct it immediately. Repetition is essential. Do not wait. The mind responds to rules, not wishes. Structure, not hope. Discipline, not desire. That is the system. Consider real-world examples. Elite performers, artists, and leaders do not allow scattered attention. They do not multitask. They do not drift. They design their environment. They impose boundaries. They schedule focus. They notice every intrusion. And they return without negotiation, without complaint, without excuse. You are no different. You can replicate this. That is the principle. That is the rule. You have a choice. The final rule for this chapter, the repetition principle. Focus must be reinforced daily. This is not a one-time adjustment. It is a training regimen. Every day, you will notice distractions. Every day, you will correct them. Every day, you will return to the present moment. Every day, you will repeat the system. This is how the mind is rewired. This is how presence is strengthened. Where your attention goes, your life follows. You have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. Inscribe this into your daily operations. Behavioral rule, journal interruptions. Keep a log. Note the time, source, and duration of every distraction. Review it at the end of the day. Identify patterns. Implement corrective measures. Small changes compound. A 15-minute distraction eliminated today becomes an extra hour of presence each week. That is the principle. That is the system. Action produces results. Observation informs improvement. Structure ensures consistency. You do not need permission. You do not negotiate. You do not debate. You act. That is the rule. Finally, reflect on your internal dialogue. Notice the phrases that justify distraction. Just a quick check. I deserve a break. It won't matter. These are lies. They are weak signals. Ignore them. Replace them with command. Focus now. Return. Control. Return. Control. Return. Control. Your mind obeys the rules you enforce. You do not rely on willpower alone. You do not rely on fleeting motivation. You rely on repetition. You rely on structure. You rely on correction. This is the methodology. This is the discipline. Conclusion for the chapter. Your attention is your currency. Every distraction costs. Every interruption steals. Every unobserved drift weakens presence. You have a choice. You can scatter, or you can focus. You can surrender, or you can command. This is the architecture of mastery. You have identified distractions. You have observed internal drift. You have practiced returning. You have begun timing focus blocks. You have prioritized tasks. You have enforced repetition. You have applied structure. And you have done it without permission, without debate, without compromise. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the path. Next, we will explore the tool you're already resisting: silence. Intentional silence. The moments you avoid because they feel empty. Silence is the foundation of presence. It is the environment where attention is trained, where distractions lose power, and where your mind learns to inhabit the moment fully. You have learned to stop scattering. Next, you will learn to harness the power of silence. That is the progression. That is the discipline. Chapter 2. Silence is the weapon you ignore. True focus begins with silence. Intentional silence. Not the accidental gaps between tasks. Not the pauses forced by fatigue. Silence chosen. Silence controlled. Silence as a tool. The world trains you to fear quiet. Noise surrounds you at all times. Phones, alerts, conversations, music, endless media. You have been conditioned to seek stimulation. You have been trained to avoid emptiness. That stops today. Silence is not absence. Silence is power. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Repeat it. Internalize it. Command it. First, understand the principle. Attention cannot be strengthened in chaos. The mind learns to focus where it can practice uninterrupted. Noise, external and internal, fragments attention. Every sound, every ping, every thought divides your mind. That is the enemy of presence. Silence is the antidote. When you create a space free from distraction, the mind begins to settle. Focus begins to deepen. Clarity emerges. Presence emerges. You do not need permission from the world. You have a choice. You must enforce it. Begin with micro-silence. Start small. 5 minutes. Sit without your phone. Sit without music. Sit without external input. Do not fill the silence with mental chatter. Do not rationalize. Do not escape. Observe the emptiness. Name the thoughts that arise. Label them. Planning, judgment, distraction. Let them pass. Return to your awareness. Breathe. Return to the present. This is your first exercise. This is your first system. Daily practice rewires the brain. Daily repetition builds the architecture of attention. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Next, create structured silence in your daily routine. Morning stillness is the foundation. Before engaging with the world, before checking messages, before hearing the demands of others, choose quiet. Sit, breathe, observe, plan minimally. Anchor yourself in the body. Let the mind arrive. This is not relaxation. It is preparation. It is conditioning. It is training. The first 15 minutes of your day dictate the quality of every hour that follows. You do not negotiate this. You do not justify this. You enforce it. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice. Silence also means eliminating external noise. Turn off notifications. Remove non-essential sounds. Use a controlled environment for focus. The absence of noise is not emptiness. It is opportunity. Opportunity for attention. Opportunity for clarity. Opportunity for decisive action. Every external interruption is a fracture in your presence. You do not need them. You do not require consent from others. You have a choice. You enforce the boundary. You respect the structure. That is the rule. That is the system. Internal silence is equally critical. The mind rarely rests. Thoughts loop. Regret. Worry. Planning. Speculation. Observation without action. These patterns weaken presence. The system is simple. Observe the thought. Label it. Release it. Return to the body. Return to the breath. Anchor in the moment. Repetition strengthens the neural pathways of focus. Repetition enforces presence. Repetition is non-negotiable. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. You do not debate. You do not justify. You repeat. You enforce. Consider practical applications. Before every meeting, before every conversation, before every creative session, insert 2 minutes of silence. Breathe. Center. Ground yourself. Notice your body. Notice your posture. Notice your mind. Then proceed. You will notice clarity. You will notice authority. You will notice the difference between reacting and responding. Silence trains presence. Presence commands attention. This is a system. This is a repeatable process. You have a choice. You enforce it. You practice it daily. Silence also protects your time. Every interruption costs more than attention. It costs energy. It costs decision-making ability. Every unnecessary conversation, every unplanned exposure to sound, every moment filled without intention reduces presence. Build silence around your high-value activities. Schedule it. Defend it. Treat it as non-negotiable. You do not need approval. You do not need permission. You have a choice. Enforce it. That is the principle. That is the rule. That is the system. Observe the psychological effect. Silence forces reflection. Silence reveals thought patterns. Silence exposes weaknesses. Silence exposes strengths. In silence, you confront yourself without distraction. Without noise, you see clearly. Without chaos, the mind organizes itself. Every moment of intentional quiet sharpens attention. Every repeated session reinforces structure. Repetition is the backbone of this system. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. Live it. A critical system to implement. Micro breaks of silence during work. Every hour, pause for 2 to 5 minutes. No phone. No screen. No sound. Observe your body. Observe your breathing. Observe your thoughts. Return fully after the pause. These micro breaks reset attention. They prevent drift. They prevent fatigue. They strengthen the capacity to sustain focus for longer blocks. That is the rule. That is the process. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Silence is also a lens for evaluation. When you remove noise, you begin to see the true value of inputs. Some thoughts, tasks, and communications no longer serve you. Some no longer deserve attention. Some no longer merit energy. The world will attempt to pull you back into noise. You will resist. You will choose. You will enforce boundaries. You will reclaim attention. You do not need permission. You do not negotiate. You have a choice. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Reflection and reinforcement. Record your observations. Keep a journal. Note the effects of silence on focus, productivity, and clarity. Track the difference between noisy and quiet days. Adjust your environment based on this feedback. These small, disciplined actions compound. Minutes of intentional quiet multiply into hours of presence over time. This is architecture. This is structure. This is practice. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Consider the consequences of neglect. Every day without silence is a day of scattered attention. Every distraction accumulated is a weakening of presence. Every unobserved thought is a missed opportunity for control. You have a choice. You can surrender, or you can command. Silence is the weapon. Silence is the structure. Silence is the system. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Silence strengthens presence. Repeat it. Inscribe it. Enforce it. Live it. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Silence is not optional. Silence is not comfort. Silence is not leisure. Silence is training. Silence is structure. Silence is power. You have begun micro-practices. You have begun daily morning stillness. You have begun defending your environment. You have begun observing internal noise. You have begun creating repeatable systems. You have seen the principle in action. You have enforced boundaries. You have repeated it. That is the rule. That is the system. That is presence. Next, we will learn to anchor your attention in the body. Presence is not only mental. It is physical. Posture, breath, movement, these anchor your mind. Silence alone is not sufficient. It creates space. Anchoring completes the architecture. You have practiced observing. Next, you will learn to inhabit fully. You will train your body to enforce presence. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is the discipline. Chapter 3. On your morning, on your mind. The first hour of your day is decisive. It is non-negotiable. It dictates your energy, your focus, and your presence for every hour that follows. If you surrender this hour to distraction, you surrender the rest of your day. You do not negotiate this. You do not debate it. You do not excuse it. The morning sets the tone. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Repeat it. Internalize it. Make it a rule. Your environment matters first. Before opening your phone, before checking email, before engaging with the world, you create your space. Silence your devices. Remove notifications. Close unnecessary applications. Eliminate the low-value inputs that fragment attention. These are not optional. They are rules. Attention is your first currency. Guard it. Defend it. Respect it. You have a choice. You enforce it. You structure it. Begin with the body. The mind follows the body. Stand, sit, or stretch intentionally. Breathe deeply. Observe posture. Observe sensations. Anchor yourself in the present. Do not allow autopilot. Do not allow habitual drift. This is the first practice of the morning ritual. It is small. It is precise. It is critical. You are not preparing for comfort. You are preparing for control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Next, mental rehearsal. Visualize your day. Identify your single, most important task. Focus your attention on completion. Imagine obstacles. Plan responses. Envision success. This is not daydreaming. This is training. This is conditioning. The mind cannot reliably command the body without structure. Structure begins in the morning. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. A sharp focus task must come first. Identify one high-value action for the day. Execute it immediately. No distractions. No justifications. No multitasking. Complete it. Observe the satisfaction. Observe the control. You are setting the standard. You are enforcing discipline. This is the system. This is a repeatable, non-negotiable process. The morning sets the tone. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Timing is essential. Define the hour. Begin and end deliberately. Do not extend. Do not rush. Respect the clock. Use it as a tool, not as a stressor. Every minute has a function. Every action has intent. Begin with intent. Anchor the mind. Anchor the body. Observe the process. Enforce the ritual. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Morning silence remains critical. 5 to 15 minutes without input. No devices. No distractions. Sit. Breathe. Observe. Notice thoughts. Label them. Release them. Return to the present. This is training for attention. Training for presence. Training for control. Daily repetition rewires neural pathways. Daily practice builds attention as a muscle. This is not optional. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Consider the integration of physical movement. Stretching, walking, intentional breath work. These anchor attention in the body. Presence begins here. Presence becomes sustainable when the body and mind are aligned. You cannot separate them. You cannot compromise. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Reflection is also necessary. At the end of the morning ritual, review the process. Did you complete your focused task? Did you maintain silence? Did you notice distractions and return immediately? Did you control your mind? Did you enforce structure? If not, correct immediately. Do not delay. Do not rationalize. Immediate correction strengthens the system. Repetition enforces the rule. The morning sets the tone. Set it, or it sets you. Real-world systems mirror this. Elite performers, thinkers, and leaders structure their mornings meticulously. They do not negotiate the first hour. They do not allow distraction. They do not rely on willpower. They create systems. They enforce rules. They repeat the practice daily. You're no different. You can replicate it. You must replicate it. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Micro-habits compound into significant outcomes. 1 hour executed with discipline creates momentum. Momentum carries through meetings, decisions, and work sessions. 1 hour surrendered to distraction leads to scattered attention, fatigue, and fragmented presence. This is the principle. This is the rule. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Daily repetition is non-negotiable. Avoid common errors. Do not check messages first. Do not open social media. Do not respond to notifications. These are low-value inputs that fragment attention and weaken presence. Delay them until after your focused task. Structure governs. Discipline governs. You do not need permission. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. The system is scalable. 1 hour builds into 2. 2 hours into 3. The principle remains consistent. Control attention. Structure the morning. Anchor body and mind. Execute the high-value task. Practice silence. Enforce rules. Repeat daily. Build momentum. Build presence. Build control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Consider internal dialogue. Every justification for skipping this process is irrelevant. I am too tired. I need coffee first. I will do it later. These are excuses. They are weak signals. Ignore them. Replace them with command. Begin. Structure. Focus. Execute. Return. Anchor. Repeat. The mind obeys the rules enforced, not the desires entertained. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Observe the compounding effects. One disciplined morning produces control over the first few hours. Repeated daily, it creates a habit of sustained attention, clarity, and presence. This becomes automatic. You do not negotiate. You do not debate. You do not rationalize. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. The morning sets the tone. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Set it, or it sets you. Behavioral rule. Journal the process. Record start time, completion of focused task, adherence to silence, and observations on mental clarity. Track patterns. Adjust micro steps for efficiency. Reflect weekly. Repetition creates mastery. Structure creates control. Discipline creates presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Reflection. The first hour is sacred. It is the foundation of presence. It is the anchor of the day. It is the system by which attention, clarity, and action are cultivated. Daily execution reinforces control. Daily practice reinforces discipline. Daily repetition strengthens presence. This is not optional. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Your morning is not casual. It is decisive. It is structured. It is governed by rules, systems, and repetition. You have begun enforcing silence. You have anchored the body. You have executed a focused task. You have repeated the process. You have tracked adherence. You have established control. That is the rule. That is the system. That is presence. Next, we will learn to build your focus muscle. Presence is strengthened not by routines alone, but by repeated, disciplined training of the mind. Systems create structure. Repetition creates mastery. Anchored mornings are only the beginning. You have enforced control. Next, you will train attention itself. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is discipline. Chapter 4. The focus muscle is built daily. Focus is a skill. It is not innate. It is not a trait you were born with. It is not granted. It is trained. Like a muscle, it grows stronger with consistent effort. Without practice, it weakens. Without discipline, it falters. You have a choice. You can ignore it, or you can strengthen it. The focus muscle responds to repetition. It responds to structure. It responds to disciplined practice. Every day, you exercise attention. There is no alternative. Single task. No multitasking. One task. One mind. One victory at a time. Multitasking is a thief. Multitasking fractures attention. Multitasking weakens presence. You do not need permission to focus on one task. You do not need validation for discipline. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Time blocks are essential. Set a period. 20 minutes. 30 minutes. 45 minutes. 1 hour. No interruptions. No checking messages. No browsing. Start. Observe. Return. End. Review. Repeat. Consistency matters more than duration. Frequency matters more than effort. You're training neural pathways. You're building resilience. You are creating control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Journaling mental clutter is equally critical. Every thought that intrudes must be noted. Write it down. Categorize it. Label it. Task to complete. Idea to revisit. Distraction noticed. Then return to the focus task. Do not debate the thought. Do not chase it. Release it. Return. This trains the mind to recognize distractions, process them efficiently, and continue working. This is structure. This is a system. This is repeated practice. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Consider real-world examples. Elite athletes, writers, and performers do not rely on luck. They do not depend on fleeting motivation. They train attention like a workout. The author writes in time blocks, observing distractions, returning again and again. The athlete isolates practice, repeats drills, and refines technique. The musician rehearses with focus, measuring every repetition. This is not theory. This is observed reality. You can replicate it. You must replicate it. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Start with micro workouts for attention. Begin with 5 minutes of single task focus. Observe mental drift. Correct immediately. End. Review. Increase gradually. 10 minutes. 15 minutes. 20 minutes. Each repetition strengthens neural circuits. Each repetition enforces presence. Each repetition trains resilience. Attention is a muscle. It grows. It strengthens. It obeys rules. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. The system requires accountability. Track your blocks. Record start and end times. Note distractions. Note corrections. Track improvement. Daily measurement reinforces structure. Daily observation reinforces awareness. Daily repetition reinforces the skill. You do not negotiate. You do not debate. You do not excuse. You enforce. You track. You repeat. That is the system. That is the rule. That is mastery. Distractions must be treated as feedback, not failure. The mind wanders. The body reacts. The environment intrudes. Notice it. Label it. Correct it. Return. That is training. That is practice. That is the discipline of attention. Repetition embeds control. Structure sustains the muscle. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Integrate focused training into real-world tasks. Reading, writing, coding, planning, meetings, conversation. Any activity that requires attention is an opportunity for practice. Apply single-task focus. Apply time blocks. Apply journaling for mental clutter. Reinforce neural pathways. Reinforce presence. Reinforce control. You do not need external approval. You do not negotiate with distraction. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Morning routines from the previous chapter amplify this. Anchored mornings provide optimal starting conditions. Attention begins strong. Focus blocks are executed more effectively. Mental clarity is higher. The mind is ready for the workout. The system compounds. The architecture builds. Repetition strengthens every session. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Observe patterns in distraction. Identify triggers. Environmental, emotional, cognitive. Note them. Remove or mitigate them. This is system design. Focus is strengthened through constraints, not freedom. Freedom scatters attention. Structure consolidates it. Boundaries protect it. Daily practice respects this principle. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Mental fatigue is inevitable. Attention wanes. Focus weakens. That is natural. That is expected. That is normal. The system compensates. Micro breaks. Observation. Correction. Return. Repeat. Build endurance. Build resilience. Build capacity. You do not negotiate with fatigue. You do not excuse lapses. You train through them. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Repetition is non-negotiable. Every block, every correction, every journaling entry, every anchor of attention compounds. Daily repetition becomes automatic. Weekly practice becomes habit. Monthly practice becomes mastery. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is strengthened. Focus is strengthened. Attention becomes reliable. You do not depend on willpower. You depend on structure. You depend on repetition. You depend on systems. That is the rule. That is the principle. That is the muscle. Reflection. The mind obeys rules. It obeys patterns. It obeys systems. It does not obey excuses. It does not obey distractions. It does not obey chaos. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Attention grows stronger every day. Presence grows. Control grows. Focus becomes a reflex. This is the architecture of mastery. You have begun. You have practiced. You have reinforced. You have repeated. You have built the foundation. That is the rule. That is the system. That is discipline. Conclusion for the chapter. Focus is a skill. Like a muscle, it requires daily exercise. You have begun single tasking. You have begun time blocks. You have begun journaling mental clutter. You have observed distractions. You have corrected. You have repeated. You have enforced structure. You have enforced systems. This is non-negotiable. Daily repetition builds strength. Daily practice builds mastery. Daily enforcement builds presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Next, we will learn to cut the noise and keep the signal. Presence is strengthened not only by exercising focus, but by eliminating low-value inputs. External noise weakens attention. Internal noise fragments presence. You have begun building the muscle. Next, you will refine the system. You will protect the mind. You will enforce boundaries. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is the discipline. Chapter 5. Cut the noise, keep the signal. Not all information is created equal. Your mind is drowning. Drowning in low-value inputs. Endless notifications. Emails that do not matter. Messages that interrupt. Social media that fragments thought. News you do not need. Conversations that derail focus. This is the enemy of presence. This is the thief of attention. You have a choice. You can allow it, or you can cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Repeat it. Internalize it. Enforce it. Step 1. Eliminate unnecessary inputs. Review subscriptions, emails, newsletters, channels, apps? Are they essential? Do they serve high-value purpose? If not, unsubscribe. Silence them. Remove them. They are distractions, not tools. You do not need permission. You do not negotiate. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Step 2. Filter notifications. Every ping divides attention. Every alert fractures the mind. Phones, computers, messaging apps, reminders, evaluate each. Decide which is essential. Silence the rest. Schedule when you will check them. Do not allow interruptions to dictate your attention. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. This is structure. This is control. This is presence. Step 3. Schedule deep work. Define periods where distraction is impossible. Calendar blocks. Closed doors. Headphones. Silence. Time for one task. One mind. Full attention. Protect these periods. They are non-negotiable. During deep work, do not check messages. Do not open tabs unrelated to the task. Do not allow conversation to interrupt. Protect your attention like a fortress. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Repeat it. Internalize it. Enforce it. Step 4. Remove the urgent but irrelevant. Many inputs demand attention. They scream for response. They are loud. They feel important. Most are not. They are noise masquerading as priority. Identify them. Reject them. Schedule them for later. If they do not matter to your focus, they do not matter now. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Discipline is refusing low-value demands. Structure is defending attention. Presence is the reward. Internal noise is equally dangerous. Thoughts, anxieties, memories, random plans, they accumulate. They distract. They fragment attention. You must observe them. Label them. Distraction, planning, regret. Then release them. Return to your focus. Return to your task. Return to your purpose. Repeat this exercise multiple times per day. This is how attention is strengthened. This is how focus becomes reliable. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Consider real-world systems. Leaders, scientists, and elite performers design environments to protect focus. Minimal inputs. Structured schedules. Prioritized tasks. Controlled notifications. Silent environments. Micro-practices repeated daily. These systems are deliberate. These systems produce mastery. They do not rely on willpower alone. They do not depend on motivation. They depend on rules, boundaries, and repetition. You can replicate this. You must replicate this. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Micro-actions compound. Unsubscribe from one newsletter. Silence one app. Schedule one deep work block. Repeat daily. Momentum builds. Attention strengthens. Presence increases. Every small action reinforces control. Every repeated block trains the mind. Every enforced boundary protects focus. Discipline compounds. Structure creates freedom. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Reflection. Your attention is finite. Treat it as currency. Do not spend it on low-value inputs. Do not allow distraction to dictate your priorities. Track what interrupts you. Note patterns. Remove or mitigate. Every unnecessary input is a cost. Every reduction of noise is an investment in presence. Every repeated correction strengthens the system. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Internal discipline supports external control. Every time your mind drifts, you notice. Label the thought. Return. Every repeated correction strengthens neural pathways of attention. Every repeated enforcement strengthens presence. Every repeated exercise enforces structure. You do not debate. You do not justify. You act. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Implement layered systems. One level, external inputs. Emails, notifications, media. Another level, internal inputs. Thoughts, judgments, emotions. Another level, scheduling, environment, timing. Protect all levels. Strengthen all levels. Silence what fragments. Focus what matters. Repeat daily. Repetition compounds. Systems reinforce themselves. Presence becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Observe the consequences of neglect. Every day, without control, noise accumulates. Your mind fractures. Tasks take longer. Decisions weaken. Presence diminishes. Every unfiltered input is a cost. Every ignored boundary is a weakening of control. You have a choice. You can allow it, or you can enforce structure. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Repeat it. Inscribe it. Enforce it. Live it. Behavioral rule. At the start of each week, review all subscriptions, notifications, and recurring inputs. Remove or mute what is low value. Schedule deep work blocks. Observe the mind's reaction. Note the increase in clarity and attention. Adjust microsystems for maximum efficiency. Daily repetition reinforces the habit. Repetition enforces attention. Repetition strengthens presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Reflection. The signal is what matters. All else is noise. Your mind, your attention, your presence are valuable. They deserve protection. They demand structure. Systems enforce boundaries. Rules govern attention. Repetition strengthens mastery. Daily practice enforces control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Cut the noise. Keep the signal. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Not all inputs are equal. Some demand attention. Most do not. You have begun removing unnecessary subscriptions. You have begun silencing notifications. You have begun scheduling deep work. You have begun observing internal noise. You have begun repeating corrections. You have begun enforcing structure. You have begun strengthening presence. That is the rule. That is the system. That is mastery. Next, we will learn why multitasking is the silent destroyer of attention. Presence is strengthened not only by eliminating low-value inputs, but also by mastering the act of single-task focus. You have cut the noise. Next, you will learn to protect the mind from divided attention. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is the discipline. Chapter 6. The Cost of Mental Multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. It does not exist. The mind cannot perform multiple high-value tasks simultaneously. Every switch of attention comes with a cost. Focus diminishes. Creativity falters. Presence erodes. Your productivity is an illusion when attention is divided. This is not theory. This is science. This is observation. You have a choice. You can allow scattered attention, or you can commit to one task at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Repeat it. Internalize it. Enforce it. Every shift of attention is a reset. When you switch from task to task, the brain loses momentum. You forget details. You must refocus. You lose time. You lose clarity. You lose energy. The cost is real. It is measurable, and it accumulates. Hours lost every day. Hours lost every week. Months lost every year. You have a choice. You enforce control. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Observe your environment. Notifications, chat messages, emails, multitasking demands. They all push you to divide attention. The world rewards busyness. It punishes focus. But you are not required to comply. You do not need permission to concentrate. You do not need approval to enforce boundaries. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Structure governs. Discipline governs. Systems protect attention. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Consider the real-world evidence. Office workers who check email continuously regain hours per week when they batch communications. Students who stop switching between study, messages, and music experience deeper understanding and longer retention. Creative professionals who focus on one project at a time finish work faster and with greater quality. These results are consistent. They are observable. They are replicable. You are capable of the same. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Implement structure blocks. Begin with one task. Choose the highest value activity. Commit fully. Set a timer. Begin. Work without interruption. No email. No notifications. No background noise. No browsing. Do not rationalize. Do not compromise. Focus is built through repeated, disciplined practice. Every completed block reinforces the skill. Every enforced block strengthens presence. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Repeat it. Enforce it. Embed it. Journaling supports this system. Note interruptions. Note drift. Note where focus was lost. Observe patterns. Identify triggers. Adjust environment. Correct the system. Repeat. Every repeated correction trains attention. Every repeated block builds discipline. Every repeated exercise strengthens presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Internal distractions are equally dangerous. Thoughts about other tasks, worries, or plans create multitasking inside your own mind. You cannot ignore them. You must observe them. Label them. Planning, distraction, task drift. Then return immediately to the primary task. Do not entertain. Do not chase. Return. Repeat. Repetition reinforces the neural architecture of focus. Repetition strengthens presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Micro breaks support sustained attention. Short pauses between blocks allow recovery. Stand. Breathe. Observe the body. Observe the mind. Then return fully to the next task. Breaks are not multitasking. Breaks are preparation. Breaks enforce recovery. They strengthen attention. They sustain presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. The system is simple but strict. Prioritize. Commit. Protect attention. Work single task. Observe internal and external distractions. Correct immediately. Record patterns. Adjust environment. Reinforce practice. Repeat daily. Daily repetition compounds. Daily enforcement strengthens presence. Daily practice builds discipline. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Observe fatigue. The mind resists prolonged focus. Attention weakens over time. That is natural. That is expected. That is normal. The system compensates. Adjust blocks. Insert micro breaks. Correct drift. Repeat. Build endurance. Build resilience. Build control. You do not negotiate. You do not justify. You enforce. You repeat. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Consider consequences of neglect. Divided attention leads to errors. Decisions weaken. Creativity suffers. Tasks take longer. Presence fades. Mental energy dissipates. Hours are lost every week. Months are lost every year. You have a choice. You enforce control. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Behavioral rules. Schedule all tasks in blocks. Track completion. Record distractions. Observe patterns. Adjust micro habits for efficiency. Reinforce focus through structure. Repeat daily. Enforce consistently. Systems prevent drift. Repetition reinforces mastery. Presence strengthens. Attention becomes reliable. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Reflection. The mind obeys rules. It obeys structure. It obeys repetition. It does not obey chaos. It does not obey distraction. It does not obey multitasking. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Every block of focused work strengthens presence. Every repeated correction strengthens discipline. Every enforced boundary strengthens attention. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the cost. Multitasking is not efficient. It is destructive. Every switch erodes focus, creativity, and presence. You have begun implementing single task blocks. You have begun observing internal distractions. You have begun recording interruptions. You have begun enforcing correction. You have begun repeating practice. This is the system. This is the rule. This is the path to mastery. One task, one mind, one victory at a time. Next, we will learn how to anchor attention in the body. Presence is not only mental. Posture, breath, and movement anchor awareness. You have practiced enforcing single-task focus. Next, you will train the body to support the mind. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is discipline. Chapter 7. Anchor your attention in the body. Presence is not just mental. It is physical. Your body is the foundation of your attention. Your posture, your breath, your movement, all of these anchor awareness. The mind follows the body. The body dictates the mind's ability to stay present. You cannot separate them. You cannot delegate presence to thought alone. Discipline begins in the body. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. When your body is present, your mind follows. When your body is present, your mind follows. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. Start with posture. Sit or stand deliberately. Align the spine. Open the chest. Relax the shoulders. Engage the core lightly. Do not slump. Do not collapse. Attention begins with stability. The body signals the mind to remain grounded. Every slouch invites distraction. Every collapse invites drift. Correct immediately. Correct consistently. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Breathing is a control lever. Observe your breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Do not rush. Do not shallow breathe. Slow, deliberate breaths anchor the nervous system. They calm internal chatter. They create space for attention. Breath is a feedback mechanism. Notice its rhythm. Adjust it. Use it to return to focus. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Movement strengthens presence. Slow walking, stretching, micro pauses. Each action reinforces awareness. Walk with intention. Notice each step. Feel the contact of your feet with the ground. Observe posture. Observe balance. Observe motion. This is not exercise for fitness alone. It is exercise for focus. Attention follows sensation. Awareness follows alignment. Discipline emerges from repeated, deliberate action. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Body scans are a critical system. Begin at the head. Notice tension. Observe the neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Move down to the torso. Notice the back, chest, and stomach. Scan the legs, feet, and toes. Identify areas of stiffness, discomfort, or unconscious contraction. Relax intentionally. Release tension. Anchor attention in sensation. Return to task. Repeat multiple times daily. This is practice. This is training. This is reinforcement. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Micro pauses during work maintain connection. After completing a task, pause. Stand. Stretch. Breathe. Observe. Return. These pauses are not breaks from focus. They are reinforcement of attention. They are calibration of presence. They prevent mental drift. They strengthen endurance. They enforce discipline. They're systems in action. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Integration is key. Anchor posture, breathing, and movement into your daily routine. During meetings, notice alignment. During reading, notice posture. During work, notice tension. During conversation, notice breath. Attention is a muscle. It responds to repeated signals. It strengthens through structure. The body provides constant feedback. The mind obeys the body. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Observation supports refinement. Note patterns of fatigue, slouching, or shallow breathing. Correct immediately. Reinforce alignment. Track improvements in focus, clarity, and task completion. Systems are effective only when monitored. Rules are only effective when enforced. Discipline is only effective when repeated. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Consider consequences of neglect. Poor posture weakens focus. Shallow, breathing fragments attention. Constant motion without awareness invites drift. The mind mirrors the body. Weak physical presence leads to weak mental presence. Strengthen the body to strengthen the mind. Build systems for attention. Reinforce through repetition. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Real-world systems reflect this principle. Martial artists, performers, and elite athletes cultivate body awareness to enhance presence. They anchor posture. They control breath. They coordinate movement. They reinforce mental control through physical discipline. Attention is inseparable from bodily engagement. Replicate this in your environment. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Behavioral rules. Create daily exercises. 5 minutes of posture and breath awareness. 10 minutes of slow walking or stretching. 2 micro pauses during high-focus work. Body scans in the morning and evening. Track consistency. Reinforce systems. Record improvements. Adjust as necessary. Repetition is non-negotiable. Presence strengthens with repeated, deliberate action. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. When your body is present, your mind follows. Reflection. The body is a system. Posture, breath, and movement are levers of attention. Control these and the mind aligns automatically. Ignore them and presence falters. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Physical discipline reinforces mental discipline. Systems amplify attention. Repetition solidifies control. Every action, deliberate or repeated, strengthens presence. When your body is present, your mind follows. When your body is present, your mind follows. When your body is present, your mind follows. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Presence is not only thought, it is physical. Posture, breath, and movement anchor attention. You have begun deliberate alignment. You have begun deep breathing. You have begun slow walking and micro pauses. You have begun body scans. You have begun repeated reinforcement. You have begun observing patterns. You have begun enforcing systems. That is the rule. That is the system. That is presence. Next, we will learn how to replace motivation with systems. Focus and presence are strengthened not by fleeting willpower, but by repeatable, enforceable systems. You have anchored the body. Next, you will design the structure that protects attention automatically. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is discipline. Chapter 8. Rewire your brain with systems, not motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes without notice. It is unreliable. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be summoned on demand. Motivation is not a strategy. Motivation is not a system. Motivation is a weak signal. You cannot rely on it to maintain focus, presence, or discipline. You have a choice. You can wait for motivation to appear, or you can enforce structure. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. A system is a repeatable, enforceable process that produces consistent results. It is not dependent on emotion. It is not dependent on willpower. It is governed by rules, boundaries, schedules, environment, feedback loops. Systems remove choice from the moment. They enforce the desired behavior automatically. Motivation is irrelevant. The action occurs. Presence is preserved. Focus is strengthened. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Start with task batching. Group similar tasks together. Execute them sequentially. Do not switch attention between unrelated tasks. Avoid context switching. Context switching erodes focus. Context switching fragments attention. Batching creates continuity. Continuity creates momentum. Momentum enforces presence. Momentum strengthens focus. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Scheduled deep work is another essential system. Define blocks of uninterrupted time for your most important tasks. Protect these blocks. Treat them as non-negotiable. Silence notifications. Remove distractions. Observe attention. Correct drift immediately. Return to the task. Repeat. Daily repetition strengthens neural pathways. Daily enforcement builds discipline. Daily practice solidifies presence. Systems do not fail you. Motivation fails constantly. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Environmental triggers enhance systems. Design spaces that cue focus automatically. Desk free from clutter. Phone out of reach. Headphones for concentration. Tools accessible. Notes visible. Your environment becomes a scaffold. It enforces behavior without conscious effort. It trains the brain to respond automatically. Motivation is unnecessary. Systems enforce the rules. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Real-world examples illustrate the principle. Writers schedule morning writing blocks daily, regardless of mood. Scientists follow strict lab routines for experiments. Athletes train at the same time, in the same way, every day. Systems remove the need for motivation. Systems enforce consistency. Systems produce mastery. You can replicate this. You must replicate this. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Microsystems compound over time. One enforced habit leads to another. One repeated block of deep work leads to the next. One environmental adjustment reinforces the next. Momentum builds automatically. Presence strengthens. Focus becomes habitual. Discipline becomes ingrained. Motivation is irrelevant. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Observation is essential. Track adherence to systems. Record deviations. Identify weaknesses. Adjust triggers, schedules, and environments to correct drift. Feedback loops enforce improvement. Repetition embeds learning. Repetition strengthens neural pathways. Repetition ensures consistency. Systems become unstoppable. Motivation remains unreliable. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Integration across life amplifies results. Morning routines. Deep work. Focus blocks. Task batching. Environmental cues. Journaling. Micro pauses. Breathing and body alignment. All systems designed to support attention and presence. Each layer reinforces the others. Each repetition strengthens the architecture. The brain rewires itself to follow the system automatically. Motivation is irrelevant. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Avoid reliance on motivation. Waiting for inspiration is wasted time. Waiting for energy is wasted time. Waiting for mood is wasted time. Systems act regardless. Systems protect attention. Systems enforce behavior. Systems remove decision fatigue. Systems strengthen focus. Systems preserve presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Internal discipline complements systems. Every time you follow a system, you reinforce belief in the process. Every repeated action builds confidence. Every enforced boundary strengthens control. The mind learns that attention, focus, and presence are predictable outcomes of structure. Motivation is unnecessary. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Consequences of neglect are immediate. Without systems, attention drifts. Tasks accumulate. Decisions weaken. Presence diminishes. Motivation cannot sustain action alone. Hours are lost. Focus fragments. Discipline falters. Repeated failures reinforce chaos. Systems prevent this. Systems enforce the rule. Systems strengthen mastery. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Behavioral rules define your core systems. Schedule deep work blocks. Batch tasks. Remove low-value inputs. Design environmental triggers. Track adherence. Correct deviations immediately. Record progress. Repeat daily. Repeat weekly. Adjust for maximum efficiency. Enforce non-negotiable structure. Repetition builds automation. Automation protects presence. Discipline becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Reflection. The brain obeys systems. It obeys rules. It obeys structure. It does not obey fleeting emotions. It does not obey temporary motivation. It obeys repetition. It obeys design. It obeys enforced practice. Systems are the architecture of attention. Systems are the foundation of presence. Systems are the scaffolding of discipline. You have begun building systems. You have begun removing reliance on motivation. You have begun enforcing repetition. You have begun tracking adherence. That is the rule. That is the system. That is mastery. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are unstoppable. You have begun task batching. You have begun scheduling deep work. You have begun creating environmental triggers. You have begun repeating the process. You have begun enforcing boundaries. You have begun observing adherence. You have begun strengthening presence. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Systems win. Systems win. Systems beat willpower every time. Next, we will learn how to maintain presence under pressure. Discipline and focus are tested in chaotic or high-stakes situations. Systems prepare the mind. Systems protect attention. You have enforced daily structure. Next, you will enforce control under stress. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is discipline. Chapter 9. The quiet power of micro-decisions. Every choice matters. Every choice shapes attention. Every choice shapes presence. What you see, what you read, what you listen to, what you think. Every micro-decision compounds. It accumulates silently, building or eroding your focus. Small choices have massive consequences. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Repeat it. Internalize it. Act on it. Start with stillness. When you feel the urge to scroll, pause. Observe the impulse. Choose silence. Choose focus. One breath. One moment. One deliberate decision. Do not surrender to distraction. Do not negotiate with impulse. Your attention is a system. Every choice reinforces it. Every choice depletes it. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Intentional listening is another micro-decision. When someone speaks, focus fully. Observe words, tone, and intent. Do not drift. Do not plan your response. Do not skim messages. Choose presence. Choose full attention. Every conversation becomes practice. Every interaction becomes reinforcement. Attention is strengthened by small acts of control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Reading and information intake are critical micro-decisions. Choose high-value material. Choose clarity over noise. Choose depth over distraction. Close tabs that fragment attention. Avoid endless scrolling. Every article, every paragraph, every sentence, decide intentionally. Decide deliberately. The mind obeys rules. The mind obeys systems. The mind obeys repeated choices. Motivation is irrelevant. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Physical micro-decisions reinforce presence. Stand when tension builds. Stretch when fatigue appears. Align posture when you drift. Adjust breathing when the mind wanders. Every small action anchors attention. Every repeated correction strengthens the body-mind connection. Presence is cumulative. Discipline is cumulative. Awareness is cumulative. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Consider mental micro-decisions. Observe thoughts. Identify distraction. Decide to return. Do not argue. Do not rationalize. Choose focus. Choose structure. Choose control. The mind practices what you repeatedly enforce. Neural pathways strengthen. Attention solidifies. Focus becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Micro decisions compound over time. Each choice to resist distraction. Each choice to engage fully. Each choice to act deliberately. These accumulate into habitual presence. They accumulate into sustained attention. They accumulate into control over your day, your tasks, your mind. You do not rely on willpower. You rely on repeated choices. You rely on enforced rules. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Real-world examples. Writers choosing to close notifications. Scientists choosing deep work blocks over meetings. Athletes choosing focused drills over distractions. Professionals choosing quality input over noise. Each micro-decision compounds. Each repeated action produces results. Each consistent choice strengthens the system. Systems enforce focus. Systems protect attention. You can replicate this. You must replicate this. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Observation is essential. Track your micro decisions. Record when you chose focus over distraction. Record when you chose stillness over scrolling. Record when you chose attention over noise. Adjust patterns. Reinforce effective choices. Correct lapses immediately. Systems are only effective if monitored. Repetition embeds learning. Repetition strengthens neural architecture. Repetition builds presence. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Consequences of neglect are subtle but real. Every surrendered micro-decision weakens focus. Every ignored impulse erodes attention. Every unobserved choice fragments presence. Hours of attention are lost before you notice. Days of presence are lost silently. The mind accumulates drift. The body accumulates misalignment. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Behavioral rules. Identify micro-decision points daily. Screen usage. Conversations. Reading material. Physical posture. Breathing. Internal thoughts. At each point, pause. Observe. Decide deliberately. Choose presence. Reinforce the system. Repeat throughout the day. Track consistency. Adjust micro-habits. Repetition builds mastery. Systems embed control. Attention becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Integration across life ensures cumulative impact. Morning routines, focus blocks, environmental triggers, task batching, all supported by deliberate micro-decisions. Every day, every hour, every moment provides multiple opportunities to strengthen attention. Every repeated choice reinforces systems, enforces boundaries, and solidifies discipline. Motivation is unnecessary. Presence becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Reflection. Attention is architecture. Presence is constructed by repeated small acts. Every choice, however small, contributes. Every deliberate decision compounds. The mind obeys repeated enforcement. The body obeys repeated enforcement. Systems obey repeated enforcement. Motivation is irrelevant. Discipline is cumulative. Presence is deliberate. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Every micro-decision shapes attention. Every choice builds presence. You have begun choosing stillness over scrolling. You have begun choosing intentional listening. You have begun choosing high-value input. You have begun reinforcing posture, breath, and micro-pauses. You have begun observing internal thought and returning immediately. You have begun repeating effective choices. That is the rule. That is the system. That is mastery. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Small choices, massive presence. Next, we will learn how to sustain this presence across days, weeks, and months. Focus is not a single decision. Presence is built through consistent, enforced systems and repeated micro-decisions over time. You have begun enforcing rules. Next, you will enforce endurance. That is the next step. That is the progression. That is discipline. Chapter 10. Presence is freedom, not effort. Presence is not effort. Presence is freedom. It is not something you chase. It is something you inhabit. Being fully present liberates the mind from anxiety about the past. It liberates the mind from worry about the future. Your awareness exists in the now. This is your domain. This is your control. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Start with the body. Breath, posture, and movement anchor presence. Each inhale signals attention. Each exhale releases distraction. Align the spine. Relax the shoulders. Engage the core. Notice subtle tension. Adjust immediately. Micro pauses reinforce the signal. Breath is the control lever. Posture is the foundation. Movement is the feedback system. The mind follows the body. When the body is anchored, presence becomes automatic. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Anchor attention in tasks. Single task. Execute with full awareness. Observe every detail. Eliminate distraction. Protect your focus blocks. Every repeated choice reinforces presence. Every repeated action strengthens discipline. Each task becomes practice. Each task becomes mastery. Systems enforce continuity. Micro-decisions compound. Attention grows reliable. Presence becomes habitual. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Observe internal noise. Thoughts of regret, anxiety, or planning arise. Label them. Release them. Return immediately to the moment. This is not negotiation. This is enforcement. Every repeated correction strengthens neural pathways of attention. Every repeated enforcement strengthens systems. Every repetition reinforces presence. Anxiety weakens. Focus strengthens. Freedom emerges. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Daily application is critical. Morning routines, deep work, environmental triggers, task batching, micro-decisions, all integrated. Breath anchored. Body aligned. Mind focused. Internal distractions managed. External distractions filtered. Repetition enforces automaticity. Presence no longer requires willpower. Presence no longer requires effort. It becomes natural. It becomes reliable. It becomes effortless. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Real-world examples illustrate the principle. Leaders command attention naturally because they inhabit every moment. Artists create fully because their mind and body are aligned. Thinkers produce insight because focus is reinforced by repeated, deliberate systems. This is not luck. This is training. This is repeated enforcement. This is discipline. You can replicate it. You must replicate it. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Reflection. Presence liberates time. Anxiety dissipates. Decisions become clear. Tasks become manageable. Focus becomes automatic. Repetition enforces mastery. Systems protect attention. Micro-decisions compound. Breath, posture, and movement anchor awareness. The mind obeys the body. The body obeys systems. Presence becomes effortless. Presence becomes habitual. Presence becomes freedom. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Behavioral rules. Anchor the body daily. Execute tasks with full awareness. Observe internal noise. Label, release, return. Apply micro-decisions deliberately. Reinforce systems consistently. Track adherence. Adjust environment. Enforce boundaries. Repeat all steps daily. Repetition embeds mastery. Discipline becomes automatic. Focus becomes reliable. Presence becomes natural. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Consequences of neglect are subtle but real. When the body is ignored, presence falters. When micro-decisions are surrendered, attention fragments. When systems are abandoned, focus weakens. Anxiety creeps in. Energy dissipates. Productivity diminishes. Life is lived partially, distracted, reactive. You have a choice. You enforce control. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Reflection. Freedom is not passive. Freedom is cultivated through repeated, disciplined practice. Attention is structured. Awareness is enforced. Presence is repeated. Breath anchors attention. Posture anchors presence. Tasks anchor the mind. Systems enforce reliability. Micro-decisions compound. This is the architecture of mastery. This is the practice of presence. This is the rule. This is the system. This is freedom. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Conclusion for the chapter. You now understand the principle. Presence is not effort. Presence is cultivated. Presence is enforced. You have anchored breath. You have aligned posture. You have executed single task focus. You have managed internal and external noise. You have reinforced micro-decisions. You have repeated systems consistently. Presence has become habitual. Presence has become automatic. Presence has become freedom. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. Presence is freedom. If you have followed this journey and applied these principles consistently, your mind is no longer at the mercy of distraction. You are anchored. You are present. You are free. And the next step is simple. Continue the practice daily. Repeat systems. Enforce boundaries. Make presence habitual. Let your mind inhabit every moment deliberately. You have a choice. You enforce it. You repeat it. Presence is freedom. If you want the full series of audiobooks and daily insights to reinforce these systems of focus, presence, and mental mastery, subscribe now. Commit to repeated learning. Protect your attention. Enforce the rules. Strengthen your mind. Presence is freedom, but only if you practice it consistently.